Hello and welcome to Weapon History, where I tell you the history behind popular weapons in video games. Today, we're patenting the Glock. Created by the Austrian Gaston Glock, he made a company off of creating simple tools made out of polymers. But when the 1980s came around, the Austrian military wanted to see if a new weapon could fit their role of a standardized handgun. The competition the government held was to make sure that the weapon could fit into the following criteria: fire 9 by 19 millimeter NATO rounds, be ambidextrous, self-loading, survive falls from a set height, and be able to fire 15,000 rounds without coming into issue. So, Gaston Glock went ahead and decided to take a crack at the issue. So, Glock went ahead and created their first ever firearm and went ahead and submitted it under the name of Glock 17. The competition itself had a lot of larger contenders, one of them being the previously mentioned H&K, and despite all of this being their first ever handgun created, Glock managed to win out and be properly adopted by the Austrian military in 1982. The weapon would grow more popular as police and military adopted the weapon, and it would make its appearance in dozens of movies, gaining large attention in the second Die Hard movie, where it did get some inappropriate details down about the weapon as a whole. The Glock 17 was, however, worried that with the small size and large capacity, it would be taken up by, let's just say, more nefarious individuals. A common myth of the weapon is that due to the plastic make of it, you would be able to sneak it past metal detectors. However, a really cool experiment that you can try and do is to do this, because, it's made out of 83% metal. However, when I decided to do this experiment and I told that to TSA, they said that it wasn't that cool. However, jokes aside, the Glock itself has many different variations, with most prominently the type of ammo that the weapon uses. They have the previously mentioned 9 by 19 millimeter, the 40 short and weak, Smith & Wesson, 10 millimeter, 22 LR, 357, 380, and 45 ACP. With these, there are over 20 different variants of the weapons meant to perform certain tasks that owners would typically require with their handgun. Now, while this weapon can be fired in a variety of different rounds and have a variety of different variants, having one loaded at all times is a felony and is a dangerous thing to have, and also is an appropriate use for pest control at Thanksgiving. Busky. Now, as hinted at previously, the naming of the Glock is a point that most people get confused or upset about, as the numbers don't make sense. But the name of the first Glock, being the 17th, was simply the 17th thing that Glock had invented. So, after every new Glock that they had gone ahead and created, they simply just increased the number by 1. And I'm going ahead and not going to list them all because I just simply don't give a shit. So, no, it's not about the mag size, it's not about the caliber, it is literally just a patent. Now, that's a little fun fact that you guys can use. And yes, I'm saying guys because 90% of you watching this, based on my analytics, are guys. And so, that's a little fun fact that you can put on your Hinge profile because, let's be honest, if you're watching this video, you're definitely not talking to women. And there we go. Now, as previously mentioned, Glock has made its appearance in dozens of different movies and video games, from Call of Duty, the Tom Clancy games, Battlefield, and other action games. It also has made its place as a survival horror staple, with it often being one of your very first bullet-based weapons, with it appearing in Resident Evil, Alan Wake 2, Metro, and even The Last of Us, as a weapon that you get early on and replace very soon after. However, for many of my Gen Z audience out there, you may have heard it through modern rap or brain rot, as in the infamous song of 679 by Fetty Wap, he lets you know that I got a Glock in my Rari. Now, while this has been memed to death, ultimately what Fetty Wap is getting at is that he has a Glock 17, not a 38 revolver, which is generally considered to be a more powerful handgun, which he is considering the Glock 17 to be superior to. Additionally, since I found out that my dad watches these videos, I'm going to go ahead and explain that lyric to him. So, when he is saying, I got a Glock in my Rari, 17 shots, no 38, yes, he is talking about the Glock 17. Yes, it does have 17 shots in the magazine, and he is letting you know that he has it in his Ferrari in case a altercation comes about with some other kindly gentleman. Additionally, the line also works as a double entendre and a shout out to one of his friends. With this, the term Glock has also been used previously in decades prior, as much more recently, with the 2020s, it is typically more commonly used as a slang term, simply implying that somebody just has some sort of a handgun. With all this being said, the Glock has become a modern staple due to the simplicity, adaptability, and easy to improve and repair. And just because of this weapon, it has become a staple of the modern media. Thank you for watching.